Good afternoon. I'm Tom Butcher of the Zero Project, and I'm here this afternoon with Alvin Tan, who is the Head of Technology Catalyst at SGEnable, and SGEnable is in Singapore. So, what we're going to discuss is building a robust ecosystem of support for persons with disabilities. So I'm going to fire away with my first question to Alvin, which is, Alvin, please could you provide us with a brief overview of SGEnable and whom you serve?
Thank you, Tom. So hi everyone, Alvin here. So just a very brief description of myself. I'm a Chinese in my 40s with graying hair, unfortunately, and I'm wearing specs and a coat. So just a very quick overview about SGEnable. For SGEnable, we are the focal agency for disability and inclusion in Singapore. So what that means is that we will look into the different aspects of a person with disabilities life and do our best to actually support them. We are set up in 2013 by the Ministry of Social and Family Development, and we are a non-profit with a charity status. Right, so the work that we do, I would say, is very much encompassed in our vision. So we envision a society where there are equitable opportunities for persons with disabilities. And we hope to achieve this through a few approaches, namely through sustainable social innovation, thought leadership, and impactful partnerships. And the last point is particularly more important because I think that for SGEnable, we are just one single organization. In order to deliver impact, really, we need to rely on partners out there who are aligned with us and to achieve the same outcome that we hope to achieve.
Thank you for that introduction. So we're going to get into the meat now. As a sector enabler, how do you actually build your ecosystem of support?
So before that, maybe I just highlight a few pillars of work that SGEnable does. So for us, we have our roots in employment. So naturally, in terms of hiring and employment for persons with disabilities, that's one of the key focus of ours. In addition to that, we also do information referral for persons with disabilities, training and consultancy, assistive technology and accessibility, caregiver support, and community integration. So for each of these pillars that we have, our approach is to work with partners who can actually help to deliver the impact. So probably I'll talk about employment first, right? So in terms of employment, we work with schools, right? Because we hope to expose persons with disabilities, or rather in this case, students with disabilities, early on to the possible opportunities out there for open employment. So we put them through internships. We do job shadowing days where actually the students have a chance to experience what it feels like to be in the open employment. And on the other hand, we also work with the employers. We bring in employers. We hope to expose them to the possibility of hiring persons with disabilities, acclimatize them, and once they are on board, we try to do the matching. So in terms of ecosystem play, we really try to build up both the demand and supply of things, and then we try to do the matching, and hopefully there's a positive outcome on that.
I'm sure it's immensely successful. Yeah. And I'll go on to the third point, which is pretty close to home for you. I should love you to tell us a little bit about Enabling Village and TechAble, which I know you started off. And I'd like you to discuss them or tell us about them as a living proof of everything you've just told us.
So maybe I'll just start off with a brief description of what the Enabling Village is about. So the Enabling Village is meant to be an inclusive community space. It's meant to break down the barriers between persons with and without disabilities, coming together, working together, learning from each other, so as to bring about a more inclusive society. So in the space itself, it's also meant to be an innovation test bed of sorts, and we have many firsts in the Enabling Village. We have the first inclusive gym, we have first inclusive preschools, where preschoolers with and without disabilities come together. We have the first inclusive clinic, and we have and many more, right? So, and for the Enabling Village to come together, that's where we actually rely on the public, the people, and the private sector coming together. We leverage our resources, we synergize our resources to bring about this place. And one of these good example, thanks for bringing it up, is TechAble, which is very close to heart, right? TechAble is a center for assistive technologies, and we have co-managed it with another non-profit called SPD. So with the support from the 3Ps, that's where we actually set up the place itself. It become a one-stop station for persons with disabilities to get assessment and training in terms of assistive technology. And we see technology as a strong enabler to allow the independence of persons with disabilities. And I think this center itself, I think we have actually delivered our impact to ensure that the person with disabilities who needs assistive technology gets the assistive technology and apply it to their daily lives, and hence enhancing the independence.
Wonderful. And I'm just going to take a little riff on the fact you mentioned the three Ps, but I think one of the really important things that you must tell our viewers as well is the fact that you don't just focus on persons with disabilities, you also focus on caregivers. So whilst the three Ps is holistic on one side, the disability community, including people with, including caregivers, is really important. Can you talk to that subject a little bit?
So I think on the caregiver part, I think probably many will agree with me that the caregivers are sometimes the neglected segment of things. While we focus on persons with disabilities, we tend to forget that actually the caregivers also need support. Hence, we look at the person with disability and the caregiver as a single family unit, and we see what we can do to support. So in terms of caregiver support, again, going back to my earlier point about partnerships, that's where actually we work with partners to deliver the support services for caregivers. So it could be in the form of education, with the resources available to them to learn, peer support. We get caregivers to support fellow caregivers, so as to make the journey easier for them. And of course, I mean, through the partners that we support, that's where the sector capability building comes in. We try to we find resources to support them so that they can better deliver their work, and thereby impacting more caregivers out there. So yeah, so I think it's important that we see them as a single family unit and support them on that note.
Great, thank you so much. And I know a little bit about SG, but you're not just an enabler. There are two other pillars or foundations. Could you explain and tell people about those two other areas?
So just to recap, I think for SGEnable, we see three roles for ourselves. I mean, we are the advocate. So in that sense, we are actually advocating for persons with disabilities to be integral members of the society. We are the catalysts. I mean, we bring people together, we connect people, we connect ideas, and we try to bring the ideas to fruition so as to deliver a certain impact. And building on the ideas, of course, there comes the resourcing. As an enabler, we hope to be able to bring in the resources to allow the ideas to bloom and eventually to become something more tangible and sustainable to deliver the impact to persons with disabilities.
Great, thanks so much. And then I think what's really important as well is from what I understand to be one of the kind of founding principles when you were set up in 2013 is the fact that you are not only a focal agency, but you're also the first stop for disability and inclusion. Can you give me a little of the history of that and the genesis of that, and why back in 1913 that was felt to be so important? Was there nothing there before? How did it work? And did you fill a great gap?
So to be honest, the point about the first stop actually was started only a couple of years back, where we did some sort of a realignment in terms of our functionality. So as I mentioned earlier on, actually we started with our employment routes, right? But well, I mean, going forward, I would say that the first stop idea is that anyone with any queries about disabilities, we don't want them to knock on the wrong doors, and having much difficulty in getting what they need. So we hope that as a first stop, they come to us first, right? And if we can support them, we support. If not, we would actually direct them to the relevant organizations. They can better support. So it's more of a no wrong door policy, and making sure to make the whole journey easier for them. Right. So that's really the principle at which we do our work.
Great. And I'm right in believing that it runs the whole gamut of age from tinies through to oldies like me.
So so in terms of if you're talking about the age group, we do support persons with disabilities from young all the way to old. But of course, at certain stages of their life, there could be other agencies that would be better suited to support them. And we work very closely with these agencies. Again, going back to the point about partnerships, that's where we together with our partners, we hope to provide the most holistic kind of support for persons with disabilities.
Excellent. And going back to the kind of ecosystem support, could you tell us a little bit more about three important elements? You mentioned one of them earlier on, but the other two as well. So there's assistive technology, there's info communications, and there's universal design. So if you could talk a bit about all of them, that would be great, and in particular about the universal design aspect.
So why not we talk about the university design first? So this point goes back to the point about enabling village. So the village in a concept is meant to bring person with and without disabilities together. But architecturally, I mean, the whole place is designed with universal design. In other words, I can safely say that you can actually go to any inch of the place if you need to, even if you're a wheelchair user, right? So the idea is that we want to show people that it's possible to apply universal design in your infrastructure to make it accessible to persons with disabilities. And that's only on the physical part of things. I think as extension, even down to digital assets, even down to processes and engagement with persons with disabilities, there's much that can be applied to ensure that your product and services, your premise is actually accessible to persons with disabilities. So I think the concept about the universal design is very important. So going back and going on to the point about assistive technology, we see that as I always see it as two sides of a coin. So on one side you have accessibility, on the other side you have the assistive technology. The whole idea is that how can we use technology as an enabler to allow persons with disabilities to be able to access, be it product, services, content, even interaction with the immediate environment. The technology itself is a very strong enabler. And if we have these two well sorted out, I think we're looking at a really inclusive and accessible environment for persons with disabilities.
Great, thank you very much indeed. And we're coming to the end. I saw the 5-minute sign, but we've probably got 4 now. Are you going to set up another enabling village? Is the one you've got now really just the kind of pilot scheme? And have you got elsewhere kind of mapped out?
So to be honest, I mean, over the past years, we have been receiving requests about, can you help me build an enabling village in my country? So, I mean, I think we are definitely very open to share our learnings and our takeaways from setting up an enabling village. And we do, maybe at this point of time, probably extend an invitation. Anyone who's keen to learn about enabling village, do come by Singapore, contact us. I think we'll be more than happy to show you the place. And then from there, it's probably where we can do the exchange of knowledge and knowledge transfer to see whether can we work together on that.
Great. And I'm just going to ask you 2 more questions because a 3-minute sign came up. First is, one thing that you find absolutely great about being the head of technology Catalyst?
Wow. Okay.
Just one.
I think it's the opportunity to try anything, to be honest. If I may elaborate further on that. Because, I mean, we see technology in all aspects of our life. I mean, we have all our smartphones in our pockets right now. So technology actually touches different aspects of the life of a person with disabilities. We always want the person with disability to be able to work, learn, live, and play independently. And I see technology as playing a very crucial part in that. So I'm very glad that I'm in this role where I can actually try out many things. And hopefully I know I can create a really inclusive environment for person with disabilities.
Great. And as I always end my chats with people, not chats at people, but I hope chats with people, which is, Alvin, what do you want viewers to take away with them from yours and my conversation?
So I guess this is very much encapsulated in our tagline for SGEnable. So we look at inclusive society, enabled lives. So I think the outcome I really hope to see is really in the future is that we are a truly inclusive society. There's no stereotyping, there are no barriers. Everyone appreciates and accepts person with disability as an integral member of the society. So I think that is the end outcome that I hope to achieve. And probably the one takeaway is that it isn't as complicated as those things. You can always take small steps, right? First by understanding about person with disabilities, and then from then on expanding into putting in processes, having better understanding, doing awareness, etc. Start small. I mean, you just need to take a small step towards inclusion, and trust me, it is not as difficult as you thought. Right.
Great. Alvin, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I think probably you've learned a lot, viewers, from Alvin. There was so much more to talk about, but at that point, I shall sign off. Thank you very much indeed for joining us this afternoon. And Alvin, thanks so much. That was great.
Thanks for this. Thank you.